Tonight on Shape the Podcast. Yes, that's right. A special night of Shape the Podcast. Because why? Breaking news. Also, I'll have a guest, Mr. Jeff Harmon. He'll be on after the breaking news. So, how about it? Let's get the show going. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a special episode of Shape the Podcast. You know me. My name is Kyle Waller. I am the host of Shape the Podcast. So normally this would be my week off of the podcast, but I have some breaking news, some special news that's going on tonight that I thought I would just go ahead and announce and bring on some special guests to do with that. And then after this special announcement gets done, I'm going to actually have a guest on. Mr. Jeff Harmon is going to be on later on tonight as well. So it's going to be a great night of podcasting with everybody. Hope you've all had a great couple of weeks. We are back to the jobs here in the household after our vacation down to Savannah, Georgia. It was a great time, fun time. I love the city. It was a very beautiful city. And one of these days, I'll probably go back and explore it all over again. But yeah, great to be here tonight. So tonight, the breaking news is something that's been in the works since midsummer. I got in touch with a couple of guys from a really cool beard oil company called Lucky Boy Beard Co. Met those guys in Gent, West Virginia at a nice beard competition that Christopher Hall did. And talking with those guys, you know, sharing my story, sharing the story of the podcast, you know, and giving them my idea of something awesome. They said, yes, we want to do this. We want to make this happen. And so, yeah, it's the breaking news is happening. It's going to be happening probably next week, but I'm going to have them on to share more about that, you know, and I'm sure you all know what Lucky Boy does. You know what they make. Okay. So it's not a surprise that it's a beard oil. All right. So, yeah, how about I bring on the original Jay and Doc, because they are the men of the Lucky Boy, and I just happen to be the lucky guy that got to do this with them. There's one. There's two. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
How's it going, Kyle?
It's going fairly well. I'm not drinking what you guys are drinking because my liver needs a rest. So I'm drinking Sprite tonight, okay?
So much about.
Yes. So what type of whiskey is that in your glass down there, Doc?
Well, that's my go-to monkey shoulder.
All right, nice Scotch. Yeah. And I believe Original J, I believe you're drinking a nice little whiskey there as well, aren't you? Yeah.
This is from the distillery that was down in West Virginia at the Appalachian Bearded Feud. I think his name was Chad Bishop, and
Yep.
Great.
Nice.
Great whiskey.
I
bought
Hatfield and
I wish I had
McCoy
more.
boys.
yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you ever get a chance to go explore some of the Hatfield and McCoy, like the homes, the grave sites, things of that nature, it's pretty awesome. You should do it. Yeah, he got it signed.
To the Lucky Boys, Chad Bishop.
There you go.
I have a hard time opening this bottle.
Chad is a fine Southern gentleman who we really appreciated meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's those Southern guys, man. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Well,
sometimes they're like me, and they just migrate north.
so
But-
really, the handshake belongs to Chris Hall, who put that all together, because he brought a great group of people together. I was so thankful, and I'm sure Rob as well, to be a part of that event down there.
Yeah, and had it not been for that event, we wouldn't have gotten together to do what we're going to be talking about tonight.
We wouldn't be here tonight.
So,
that's correct.
I think that's awesome. I consider it an honor and a privilege, A, to have met you both, and then B, for this momentous occasion to happen.
Momentous.
Yes, I would say it's momentous. I mean,
so because you feel it's momentous, and because you came to us, why don't you, Kyle, explain to everybody why we're here tonight and what we're doing?
All right. So, everybody knows I host a mental health based podcast. I got to share a little bit of the podcast story with Original Jay and Doc down there in West Virginia, and Jay actually shared me a little bit about his daughter Olivia, her story, and you can actually go back and watch the podcast that both of them were on.
Mm-hmm.
But during that discussion, I had went to Jason and said, "Hey, how about we design a beard oil, and we give those proceeds, part of the proceeds, to charity?" Of course, Jay turned me down, like the guy he is. He said, "Nope, not gonna do it. It's not no."
He's not very giving, that guy.
Yeah, no, he's
I'm a Scrooge.
Yeah. Actually, he did not turn me down. He didn't even think about saying no. He thought it was a great idea, and then he talked to Robert, and Robert jumped on board about it, and so that's what we're on here. Breaking news is Shape the Podcast, along with Lucky Boy Beard Co., have designed a beard oil for not only your beard but also your mental health, and $5 of each bottle will be going to a mental health based charity. We're in the works right now of trying to figure out which mental health based charity that we're giving to. There are a ton out there, but we are very picky at who we want to go to, because we just don't want to go to anybody. We want to go to somebody that we know, where this money will help them with their outreaches and help them with their community. So that is why I got the guys on, man. So yeah, again, I consider it an honor for you guys to remotely not even think about this, but be without any hesitation, you're saying yes, we'll do it.
Yeah, without a doubt. And thank you for bringing that to us, because Robert and I had talked about collaborating 2 or 3 times with some other very informal discussions that have come across our table with some other people, and we just didn't know if we were ready yet. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't, but we weren't ready to pull the trigger yet. But your opportunity, and for the purpose of it, it just felt like it was the right thing to do at the right time.
Well, I'm glad.
Kyle, you are. Well, I have a reverse screen thing here. Kyle, you are our very first collaboration.
Oh wow, that's I feel that an honor. Really, I do.
This is our collaboration virginity right here.
We're breaking it.
You popped our cherry, Kyle.
We have broken the beard oil collaboration virginity. Now it's nothing but downhill from here.
Oh, that's what I hear. So, since we're talking about popping cherries, Robert, why don't you tell everybody about the formulation, how you came up with it, why you came up with it? Because as everybody knows, Robert is our mad scientist, and there's a level of chemical fuckery that he knows that just it's outside of my league. So,
and then after you do that, Robert, what I'll do is I will pop the label up for people to see.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the label,
Yeah.
Some of our customers and all of our friends know I'm a naval veteran, and the idea of the mental struggle that many veterans go through and many non-veterans go through. There's this idea in naval history around the term "hold fast." The idea of holding fast is when you're in the shit and things look grim. Stay the course, stay in the fight, keep fighting forward, hold fast.
Yeah.
And that sort of inspired Jay and I as we were bouncing around. Well, what would a product? Because let's face it, the image of the product is in the world we live in is as important as the product itself.
It is.
There has to be a reason that you would want to maybe consider a product. So, and our branding is something that's very important to us. It's our old school traditional Americana tattoo imagery is part of our brand, and we wanted to stay with that.
Yeah.
We wanted something unique and special for just this product.
But staying within the context of our branding. So hold fast came up in those conversations, So I'll say this about talking about the chemistry of beard oil. Those companies like ours who use 100% natural ingredients to generate scents comes from essential oils. The interesting thing, so I've been a doctor of acupuncture and Eastern medicine for 30 years, and have used essential oils and carrier oil in therapeutic treatment of my patients over that entire time. The essential oils we use in beards and other companies use in beard oil have also a therapeutic effect across many medicines, both folk and conventional medicines, for their effect. Everybody knows if you want to get a better sleep, a little sachet of lavender is helpful, right? Everybody knows that St. John's wort will help calm stress, right? Well, I say everybody, but a lot of people. Let's say a lot of people know that. Here's an interesting thing I found in my research. The beard oil scents that most men prefer, and this is not talked about, are scents that both ground and invigorate. So grounding, foundational, standing on solid ground, and those are your frankincense and your sandalwood and things like that. And invigorate, those are the higher notes in the oils. These are literally oils that many traditions, including the one that I come from, would use therapeutically. So that's the situation with beard oils. So with that in mind, I created this formula, which is based on frankincense, sandalwood, and juniper, which are the grounding, foundational, sort of good, strong, manly scents. And then adding to that sweet orange and ylang ylang oil. These are the high notes of this formula. And these sort of uplift, open the mind, invigorate the mind, and give you a sense of upbeat positivity. So that's how we came up with the. That's how we came up with the formula.
Most people don't know that ylang ylang is actually a plant.
Is a what?
It's a plant.
Yes, it's a flower.
Yes, it is a flower, and
yes,
and it's like you'd explain to me. It has an overbearingly sweet smell to it
on its
originally,
own.
But guys, I can tell you right now, this oil right here, the balance of it across the board, I'm not one that goes for very heavily strong scented oils. Like I don't like your cologne based stuff. I actually, to tell you the truth, my favorite oil, patchouli. I'm an inner hippie, okay, but this specific oil that Doc has concocted, okay, was rigorously tested on a lot of faces, okay, and we went through and tried a couple different ones. Some where it's like, okay, no, that smells way too strong, but this one, as soon as I put it on my beard, the calmingness, like literally within minutes, I was already full of anxiety to begin with because I knew that I had to go to work and deal with what I deal with. So I get really anxious when I have to go deal with that stuff. But literally, like within minutes of me putting on this oil, it calmed me down and brought me down to where I'm steady. To where it all the negative energy, everything that was there, literally got released. So, and I'm not just saying this to say this. I'm saying because it works. And my beard felt great. My beard felt amazing. So,
well, Kyle, you said something. You said this has been tried on a lot of faces, and you're absolutely right about that because quality control, and by that I mean our quality control is strong. But when I say it in this context, I mean we're not going to put out anything that isn't solidly enjoyable by a broad spectrum of people. That's tricky, right, Jay? Because everybody's olfactory preferences or everybody's preference for how they're receiving olfactory input is different.
And the same oil is going to smell different in my beard compared to your beard compared to Kyle's beard. So not only is the blend going to be perceived differently, it's also going to chemically react with your body's natural oils differently from person to person, causing maybe an improvement or a reduction in the overall perceived quality of the scent profile.
Jay, that's what I love about what we do. It's so different for each user. I mean, there's a bracket, right? But it's different for each user.
Well, that makes it great, but that's what makes it difficult. And it takes so long to find that 60%, throwing the 20 out here and the 20 out here, and finding that median 60% that love it, because there's going to be outliers in either direction for any product. And
we're going through this process, and Kyle's like, "You got it ready yet?" Like, all right. We're not going to pass anything for you to try until we know it's good.
And of course,
you've got sorry, go ahead.
I knew that the masterminds would send me a great product. You wouldn't send me something that I would throw away in the trash can. Right? I've had those beard oils and I've thrown them away in the trash can. Right? Sure. So, but yeah, I was just like I said, like Jay said, each person that wears this, when they wear it, you might get something totally different than the next person, But I can guarantee you this: it will it'll set you at ease, Originally, originally when you guys sent it to me, I smelled the lavender. I was like, "Oh, this is lavender," and Jay's like, "No, there's no lavender in there," and I'm like, "Oh, that's totally what I'm getting," because I like lavender. I love the smell of lavender, but
also that goes back to everybody's perception of an oil is somewhat different.
Yeah, it is.
And when you start blending, and especially blending more dominant scent profiles, you can take two and put them together, and what you get as a result may not be identifiable as the two starting points because they're working together to create something new.
Yeah.
Well, if there's any other small batch beard companies out there listening to this podcast, you know the struggle. It's like you get an idea and you're like, yeah, it would really be kind of interesting to put this and this together. Or how do we get this in the mix without unbalancing the other stuff? So
And
it's like Jay says, mad scientist. It really is like that. Any other blenders and any other beard oil companies out there, they know it's both the joy and the struggle of creating a formula.
Mhm.
And we love
Yeah,
it.
I would hate to see how many times that you went through your vigorous making and everything. You're like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Like I can just imagine you with beakers full of different scents, and and you're like, nope, that's not it. But
I'll give you a behind the curtains thing. So we don't batch our stuff in my kitchen because we use a laboratory that's capable for the incoming regulations that are coming our way.
Yeah.
Produce our formula, but it starts out in my kitchen. I'm there with little pipettes, putting a drop of this and a drop of that, and it's a slow process because your nose gets blown.
Yeah.
Like you're like, this is my idea. Boom, 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 boom. Nah, not quite right. Not quite right. Let me up the drops of this piece. Let me bring this forward. And then, okay, I've got to stop for 24 hours because now all I smell is everything.
Yes.
So that's the fun part, and also the pain in the butt part. You got to get to a place where you've got a few iterations in what we do in our developmental process. And we get those iterations and we put them on beards and on the noses of wives and girlfriends of the bearded.
Yes.
And that's 50%. It's like, do you like the way your guy smells with this in his beard? If the female input is no, then we rethink the formulation.
Yes. And my wife did not tell me that it stinks. So I knew that it was A-okay. Because I'm sure that,
And Kyle, if you thought you were anxious at all, anybody who knows me knows that when I have something here, I want it done like that.
Yeah.
So I think of a shirt, I make the shirt. 3 days later, I have a box full of shirts, and Robert's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "The idea was there. I made it happen. I want this to happen fast." So for me, this was a struggle to go through 2 or 3 or however long months it was developing this and waiting for it to come together. And not saying Robert was slow, but it's just so not my way, because to me, I want it now. And things that are in my control, I make them happen right now.
Well, see, you're just mad, and Robert's a scientist.
There
so
you
put
go.
them together, and that's
Hey,
that's one thing
Hey,
that-
Kyle, can you throw up the label?
The label, yeah, we could definitely throw up the label, and I'll tell you, I dig this label 100%. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Man,
So that stays
I think
within
your screen
our.
position is perfect because it blocked Robert's face out.
and unfortunately, I can't make it any bigger. So yes,
That's
unfortunately,
okay. That's okay.
No, it's
So-
perfect. I can't see his ears or anything. But that is like Robert and I struggled with this first, kind of trying to find the right balance and dynamic of traditional American style tattoo work, yet also kind of, giving credence to the Navy and to the slogan and the history, and incorporating your name in there also, because we wanted it to be inclusive. And we were just so happy with the way the logo finally.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you have one of my favorite birds, the swallow. I have a swallow right here.
Yeah.
Right. And then I just love American traditional tattoo work. I love it. But really, how like the name Hold Fast, because we all know, not just in the naval term, but in the mental health aspect.
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes we have to take that step, and we have to mentally prepare ourselves, and this, you know, this just gets it, you know. You know, with what you have been through, you know, with your daughter, things of that nature, this is 100% what it should be, you know. I mean, I love it. The colors are great. You know, it's got the American traditional colors in the background. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this.
So actually, Kyle, there's a little bit of an Easter egg there since you mentioned colors. The red, the blue, the orange, and the beige. Those are all the colors of our original lineup of oils, the background colors from our original labels.
Nice.
So it pulled our brand origin and our brand history into the label also.
Podcast, but feel free to come on.
If you can hear Robert talking in the background, somebody must have stepped into the undisclosed secret location.
Some people
that's why we got them blocked.
You can get rid of the label now.
All right,
Show my pretty face. Some people have discovered the secret undisclosed location.
Dadgummit.
No.
But yeah, I totally that label is amazing. It's awesome, and it'll be on their signature square bottles that everybody, I'm sure, if you're a fan of Lucky Boy Brito, has seen.
Do you have that picture available, Kyle?
I actually do have that picture. Yes.
Let's block Rob again.
Look at
that. Beautiful.
Yes, I mean that's just
so any of our customers that purchase our products, you know, we're in a matte black square apothecary bottle, and our labels are consistently across that thread of traditional American ink. So we're very happy with this. I have to be honest with you. I'm not a guy that would tattoo the Harley #1 on my arm, even though I ride a Harley.
I wouldn't either.
Or any other branding on my body, but I kind of want to tattoo that hold fast anchor swallows on my. I want to get that tattoo.
I mean, hey,
listen. Some of us struggle with mental health. You know, as a veteran, I'm very aware of groups like Project 22 who are trying to bring awareness to 22 veterans committing suicide every day, things like that. As a veteran, this project has been very important to me.
Yeah, it's great, you know, because like I said before, you know, this just isn't a beard oil. You know, we are giving back to the mental health community. You know, we're giving back to people who need it. You know, and so that's why I think it's wonderful. So, you know, when you do buy this beard oil, when you go to Lucky Boy Beard Co. and you buy this beard oil, $5 of those proceeds will be going to a mental health based charity, and we might be changing up that charity every couple months, so it might not be going to the same charity.
Well, Jay, can you speak to that, to your idea about how we'll manage that?
Sure. So as Kyle alluded to earlier, we want to make sure we choose a charity, whether it's mental health, suicide awareness, suicide prevention. We're sure that the organization we choose has a balanced philosophy in line with our intent. Also, we want to make sure it's a good fit, right? You know, just like any collaboration, there has to be uniformity amongst the people involved. So we decided in the kind of halfway through this development process that we didn't want to choose one charity that we're going to be stuck with. It would be nice potentially to rotate. So it allows us to help multiple organizations, a larger reach of potential people that are being helped, and over hopefully a broader spectrum of populace in the country, you know, stretching outside of our local regions. Us being in Connecticut and you're in Ohio, correct?
I am, yeah.
So it allows us to to rotate charities in and out, maybe every 6 months or so, and broaden our reach, extend further the amount of people we're able to touch and help through this project.
Yeah,
And
I think that's amazing.
We would hope that people would reach out and say, "Hey, do you know about this charity?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially those smaller, more grassroots level organizations. Like, listen, I don't want to take away anything from the bigger groups because they have a lot of money and they help a lot of people and they're very efficient at doing that because they've got the pockets. But sometimes those smaller organizations are reaching people that might be unreachable by the larger groups.
Yeah.
They're focusing on a smaller, more down home populace. So if you have an organization, please reach out to us. We would be glad to look into them and add them to the rotation. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah.
And also, Jay, as we are doing $5 from each purchase to a disclosed charity, Jay, will you talk a little bit about what our transparency process will be in that?
Yep.
Yeah. So we can create, from our invoicing software, a report at any point in time to validate, from a given date to another date, how many bottles of that product were sold. Just like all of our other oils, it's going to be at the same price, $19. All the promo codes and all the sales that apply to all of our other oils will always apply to this one too. And I don't care. There's a few wholesale customers, guys out there, listen. I don't care if we're wholesaling you the product. $5 from every bottle. I don't care if that means we make zero on it, but $5 from every single bottle that leaves the warehouse is going to a charity. Regardless of what we sell that bottle for, $5 is going. No question.
When we run our Black Friday sale, when we run our Christmas sale, when we run our New Year's sale, that number drops our price point. $5 still goes to the charity.
Right. It's never a percentage. It's always a fixed dollar per bottle.
It's always a fixed dollar.
Yeah.
And I think simply because of this bottle being that it's of that fixed amount, $5 is going to charity. My code, the podcast code, will not be valid for this simply because I don't want to take away the overall amount, but I also don't want to for that to be lost in the shuffle.
No, that's okay, Kyle. Even if your code discounts the product, it does not discount the charitable value.
Yes, please continue to do your podcast code that we give you. Again, no matter what we discount this price for whatever holiday sales or podcast codes, $5 will go. We don't care if we don't make any money on this product.
Yep.
We just want to put $5 for each sale in the hands of a charity that will make a difference.
So there you go, guys.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. You can go to Lucky Boy Beard Co. This product will not be available tonight, not yet. We're looking at possibly next week. Is that correct?
Yeah, the website went live. The product page went live this afternoon. It is there on our website under our beard oils. You do have the ability to add it to cart right now. If you check out, it's not going to ship right away because I'm thinking Monday, maybe Tuesday. Maybe that's wishful thinking. I don't know, but we're just waiting on labels to arrive.
Certainly by the end of next week, we'll have labels in our possession, and we'll be able to ship the product.
Mm-hmm.
The product is already batched; it's ready to go.
So go over there, order like all of them, okay? And of course there are other regular products that they have, right? But especially order the Hold Fast design that Shape the Podcast and Lucky Boy did together, and of course you can use Shape 20. They give you 20% off. So yeah, so do that.
And I haven't discussed this with Jay, but
I hate
what's been on my mind is Chase. Let's give it all away, Jay. What's been on my mind is we're going to do a T-shirt also with the label, with the Hold Fast Anchor. That's going to be one of our T-shirts, and maybe we'll talk about it today offline, but maybe we'll find a way to let the proceeds of that also go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. You know, I think that it's an awesome thing that's happening. You know, because there are not many companies out there that offer this. You know, that have these oils that they're specific to help, you know, balance your life, and not only that, that the proceeds, $5 of the proceeds aren't going to a mental health based charity. You know, there are organizations out there that give $1 or a percentage, you know, but for you guys to be like, hey, $5 flat, doesn't matter, you know, that's what's going to the charity. You know, that's amazing, you know.
And that's why we chose that the flat dollar amount, because we do discount our products for the holidays, and we try to, you know, help people use these as gifts for their bearded men in their lives. And we didn't want any discounting we did to take away from the charitable donation of this product. And Kyle, I'm just going to say again, thank you, brother, so much for reaching out for this collaboration, because I know you're so passionate about the support of mental health in the community, and you've given us an opportunity to participate in that, and for that we are grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. You know, it's something that doesn't get talked about much at all. You know, I mean, not just mental health, but men's mental health, women's mental health. You know, it doesn't. Sometimes it gets overlooked and overshadowed. You know, especially in today's society, because, well, when we talk about our mental health, we're weak, right? That's what people tell us. Oh, you're weak if you talk about your mental health. Well, you're not weak. You know, so just like when Jay came on, you know, a little bit of a month ago with Olivia, you know, that was a very, and I'm not going to get emotional about this, but that was a very moving and emotional episode for me, simply because I've dealt with suicide. You know, I've had friends commit suicide. I've tried to commit suicide 3 times. You know, so this oil is a very important thing to me, simply because it's going to help, you know, a charity, you know, whether it be a suicide charity or any type of mental health based charity. It's going to help people who need it, you know.
I encourage your viewers who might have missed that episode to go back. I love Jay and Olivia.
Yeah.
Jay and I aren't just business partners, we're brothers. And that was like one of the bravest things I've ever seen a young woman do.
Yeah.
That was very hard for her, that episode.
Yeah.
And she paid the price for it mentally for a couple of days afterwards too.
Yeah.
Couple hours after that happened, a couple hours after we finished that episode, you know, we sat on the couch and we hugged and we, you know, had our father-daughter moments, and my wife was here and her mother, and an hour or two later we're upstairs and we hear something, and we come downstairs and the kitchen window is kicked out and she's gone. So we found her later on that evening, and she was in a rough spot, and we knew that was going to be hard on her, right?
Yeah.
You know, we knew it wasn't going to be easy to just let all that flow for 45 minutes and not have repercussions, you know. But it was her choice to do it. She wanted to do it, and I think in the long run it was healthy for her to do that.
Yeah.
And to let some things out that she hasn't let out in a long time.
Yeah, it might have been cathartic for her, but I can't imagine that other young women in her similar circumstances could not have found that helpful to know that it's not just them in that situation.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't be more proud of her. And Jay, super proud of you as the dad holding that space for her. Just. Yeah, I had tears in that as I watched that episode.
During that episode, during that podcast, we actually created a hashtag, Team Olivia. We were going to put that on the bottle, except for there are a lot of hashtags out there named Team Olivia, but we will have a special mental health based hashtag that you will see on all the posts coming up about this spirit oil. But really, after that episode, Olivia was kind of the driving force behind that. You know,
she was for me.
Yeah, it took a lot. You know, that whole episode. But guys, I appreciate it. I don't want to keep my other guests waiting too much longer.
Yes. Please bring Jeff on. We've had our fair share. Yep.
Thank you guys. I mean it. You know, and like we said. Stay tuned to Lucky Boy Beardco and also my social media and share the podcast social media. When that beard oil does go live next week, I'll make sure to share it out. You know, because we want to see it go. You know, we want to help. I want to help others who need it. You know, and $5 from each bottle. You know, so I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your hearts. I really do.
Thank you so much, Kyle. We appreciate you too for the opportunities.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Well, hey, I will talk to you guys later. Okay.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Brother. Have a great night.
Hey, too. Well, that was an awesome first part of the Shaper podcast. So, welcome to hour number. I don't know, my original hour. All right, the 8 o'clock hour of Shaper podcast. My next guest is going to be Mr. Jeff Harmon. I met Jeff. I've seen him at a couple different competitions throughout the eastern part of the U.S. But most recently, I saw him at Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and we got to talk. And he said, "You know, I want to come on your podcast. I want to share my story." So I'm going to have him on to share his story because just like everybody else, it's very inspiring, and I believe that it can help those of you out there who need it, especially us men, because it has to deal with prostate cancer. Right? Just like my previous guest that I had on had prostate cancer. Jeff has dealt with prostate cancer, so we're going to talk about his journey and whatever else comes to mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Harmon. Sir, thank you very much for sitting through the first 43 minutes of that show. I appreciate it. Now it is your time to shine. It's your time to show the world and tell the world who Jeff Harmon is.
Okay, that was a great podcast. I really enjoyed watching that. I can't wait to try the product out. Well, my story began in 2018. I normally get an annual physical, something I carried over from the time I got out of the military from Desert Storm. In 2018, they called me a few weeks after I'd had my physical, and my PSA rating had gone up. So I went back. I don't know if it was that week or a week or so later.
Now, you say PSA rating. For those out there who don't know what a PSA rating is, what exactly is that?
That's I believe it's the antigens that's in your prostate. It gives it. There's a certain level. I don't remember the exact level, but you have a normal rating, a slightly elevated, more elevated, then you have like I guess the danger zone when it gets to a certain level.
Yeah.
Because when I kind of got mine, everything kind of just went topsy-turvy for mine because I had to go take a couple more tests, and I had to go see a urologist. And when you go down there, they give you several exams and another PSA. And then as you go through that, you have to start weighing what your options are. You know, there's radiation, there's chemo, there's surgery, there's the wait and watch method. Because when you get your diagnosis, it's one of three things: it's either a snail, a turtle, or a rabbit.
Yep.
People with the snail, it may be like that for 20 years or longer. It may
That,
never grow. It may never do anything. Turtle's a little faster, and then rabbit, you better figure out something to do pretty quick.
yeah. So where was yours at during that time?
Well, after I went, I had to get a biopsy, and then I had to get a CAT scan, and I think he rated mine around a 7.
All right.
And the biopsy, that was an interesting experience. I'm not going to go in all the details of it. It was just a very interesting
Yeah.
experience. Uh,
Well,
then what?
I'm sure it was probably very uncomfortable because everybody knows where the prostate is.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable. It was just really kind of an odd experience, but you make it through. You just have
Yeah.
to. It's just one of those things. When you get it, you can decide that, and that was just one of the options to do. And then sometimes you might have a lower, but where mine was, I still had to go see an oncologist, but my urologist, his recommendation was surgery, and
All
so
right.
then I had to think about surgery. What all does that involve? Do I want to try some different method? And at that time when that was going on, both my sisters wound up in a hospital. Uh, one of them got struck by a car, and the other one had a health issue where she was circling her drain. So here I am with my diagnosis, taking care of them,
Yeah.
working a full-time job, selling real estate in the evenings and weekends, and taking care of all my other stuff. It was a very taxing time for me.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it weighed very heavy on your mental state.
Oh,
Especially knowing that here you are. Uh, you get told that you have prostate cancer. And of course, whenever you hear the big C word, you always everybody we always think the worst. We think that, oh no, it's time for me to get my affairs in order. You know, um, so that, and like you said, you have a sister who was sick, then you had a sister who got in a car accident. You know, yeah, and then you're having to carry around the weight of your own personal life. That had to be very taxing on your mental health.
oh, it was. There'd be times at work where I'd go out to my car and I'd just sit and holler at my steering wheel, or just out there for a while and just listen to a little music to kind of relax and everything.
Yeah. I've never hollered at the steering wheel. I might, I might have to try that one day. You know, uh, I, uh, I chose many different um, outlooks on how to deal with my mental health, but now I deal with it way different now than I used to. So during that time, what were the So you obviously had the surgery. Well,
Yeah.
what were the pros and the cons at that specific time for the surgery?
Well, the surgery, the pros of it was you just eliminate the problem. I mean,
Yep,
it's pretty much
it's
gone.
one
You
hundred
don't have,
percent con. Yeah,
yeah, you don't have to worry about the effects of radiation. And from where I live to where they would have to do the radiation was around, say, 30 miles one way, 30 miles back. Then if I went to
ah,
work, that was another 40 miles there. So it was about 100 plus miles a day. I'd be driving 5 days a week for like 6 weeks.
that's a pretty good jump.
So I opted for the surgery. Just one day, I just could not handle the thought of anything else, and I said, just cut it, get it, and
Yeah,
let's go. Just get it out. Getting prepped for it, like you said, you get all your little affairs in order and make
yeah.
everything happen, and then and
Because
then
they always tell you they always tell you the bad and the good. Of any type of surgery. There's always a risk that anything could something could go wrong, and you know one slip of the knife, so to speak.
well, there one of the big risks for that is there's a chance they could nick your bladder, and
Yep.
mine got nicked, but they repaired that, he said when I had come to a few days, like a day or so later, when I was a little bit more coherent from the surgery, he said, well, he said he believed he got everything. Everything looked good. He said he took a little extra tissue because it just didn't look right, or maybe it's the way the light hit it. And I thought,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was asleep, so it didn't matter to me. Okay, no problem, dude.
So how long did the process take?
The surgery, it was a few hours. I don't remember. I think it
Oh
was
wow.
anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. But the healing process, once you come, I was out of work for 2 months,
Oh wow.
and you have to wear a catheter for around 2 weeks or longer.
And yeah, and that's hard to deal with, you know, because
And then you had one of them little drain tubes, and they would have to be cleaned every day and
yeah.
took out. And the catheter was one of the worst parts of it, having
Well,
to deal with that thing.
yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, here you are, you're you're having to deal with that. Now you're like, oh man, I I feel ashamed because I'm having to wear this catheter, you know. But I mean, in the long run, you eliminate the problem, you know.
Yeah,
So
problem's gone.
yeah,
So
so how's that been? You know, since they like, have there been any type of oh, what's the right word? Not side issues, but like, has there been any type of side effects with all this or anything like that? Or
the biggest one is a mental side effect. Really,
uh,
it's just kind of a thing of certain things are gone from you now, and they'll never be back. So,
yeah,
but it's fine. And then my biggest thing is, I work outside a lot, so when you drink water, you got to go to the bathroom. And you can't hold it like you used to, so you got to
yeah,
get on
yeah,
to the bathroom because
yeah,
instead of like having three gates now, you've got one. So if
yeah.
you got to go, you need to go.
Yeah,
You know.
things happen. Well, I mean, you stay pretty busy. We we both talked about this. I mean, you have your real estate job that you work nights, and then you have your daytime job, and then you have your honeydew list. You know,
Right.
so uh, uh, that I'm sure that helps you stay mentally aware, and then you don't have to think about all. Oh, I gotta go now. Or I gotta deal with this.
Yeah.
But nobody should feel ashamed to, or nobody should feel scared to get anything medically checked. Just like I talked to Paul Kennedy a couple weeks ago, because he had prostate cancer. It's it's a hard thing to think about. It's a hard thing to deal with, but it's also a very important thing, because the earlier that it's detected, the the longer you might have in life, especially if they can get rid of it. So it's gotten rid of 100%. There's no way for any type of like, not cancerous cells to come back or anything like that, or is it to where the cancer might come back?
Uh, well, so far, I mean, I had my surgery in 2019, and I go every year, and I have a PSA test done at the urologist, and
Yeah,
everything is non-detectable. So, there's that always chance you could get cancer from something else, or there may be a little spot that nobody could ever see, and over
yeah,
time it could. But, I've known people who've had the surgery, and 20 years later, they're still free and
yeah,
enjoying doing some of their things and enjoying life. But usually around that time when I gotta go give blood, that does kind of bother me a little bit.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Because you're
it
like,
is.
oh no, what
Yes, it's a
what
no,
if my
no.
levels
Oh
go down?
gosh.
Yeah, because
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, at least you did it, and it, but yeah, it had to be pretty hard, like I said, to sit there and you're weighing out your options. You're thinking, I might not see tomorrow. With with everything, but you were strong enough to do what you needed to, and you were strong enough to make it through it.
Yeah, because I've known some people who waited and they're no longer with us, and then
Yeah,
some who did some treatments, and it was gone for a while. Then it came back. Then they wound up having to get it cut out and do treatments again. So
Well, and
I think,
it's just like with anything that is life threatening. Sometimes people can't handle it. And we've seen it. We've heard the stories of people who have been given the prognosis of cancer, whether it be terminal cancer or not, and then next thing you know, you hear about them committing suicide, or you hear about them trying to take their lives, things of that nature. Um, yeah, cancer is scary. My son's mom died of cancer. You know, um, and my biological mom died of cancer. But now uh, I try to be more aware of my health, simply because of I want to be able to live for the future. Like I want to be able to make sure that, well, when the good Lord does take me, that my future, is taken care of. But it's a very important thing for people to take care of their health. Because it's it's not just your body, but it's also your mental health. It's a very important thing. So don't be afraid to go to the doctor. I hate them just like everybody else. But if if you don't feel good, and you feel like something is wrong, uh, go see somebody. And
well,
like you did. You went and did what you needed to do, and you got it taken care of, and now you're just working at home, and doing your whole beard journey. I mean, just imagine, had you not done any of that, you would not be sitting here today. More than
that's
likely.
That's true. Well, when I first got my diagnosis, my beard used to be a lot shorter, and then when I got it, I just let it grow because I thought it's gonna get me. I'm just gonna let it grow out, and I'll just go however I want to go.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that men, when you reach a certain age, 50 if it's for you, or 45, you should go at least once a year and get a physical, get a
Yep.
whole complete physical, and that way you can stay on top of your health and you can catch something quick if you do. But I happen to be lucky now since the PACT Act has passed, and I'm now getting some VA benefits that my diagnosis has actually been service connected.
Oh
So if
wow.
it ever flares back up, yeah. So that's one good thing, and that's what I'd like to tell a lot of veterans. If you've not applied or even put in for the PACT Act, if you're eligible for it, go do it. I mean, it didn't take but just a few forms, and now I get it. I'm getting a check. I'm 40% disabled. I get a check now for the rest of my life and medical care.
Yep. All because you did what you needed to do, and it's good that they had that service out there for the veterans. You know,
Hmm.
um, simply because the the there's a lot of veterans that are afraid. There's a lot of things that veterans have went through. That some veterans are afraid. Like, I mean, heck, I can, just the stories I've heard. Of veterans coming back sick, and from being overseas. Dealing with things of that nature, and then next thing you know, that they're no longer with us. So it's very important for not only the veterans but for everybody. And with the prostate guys, like Paul said a couple weeks ago, it's no longer a finger. Right? They do a blood test, like Jeff said, that PSA, they can do a blood test to where they're able to tell, um, whether or not your prostate's normal, or whether or not it's elevated to where something might need to be done. So I'm 45 years old. I can tell you now, I'm gonna need to go get one. All right? I'm gonna need to get it done soon, um, and because of both of my guests, I'm not afraid to do that. So yeah, thank you for doing that. Because the world would be a little bit bleaker had you not.
Yeah, probably would. It was quite a bleak time for me. I mean, it was really a lot on me, and I mean, me hollering at my steering wheel sitting in my car, it just was helpful for me. And my poor wife, she said, "Well, I didn't know what to say to you," and I thought, "Well, I don't know what to say about it."
Yeah.
It was just kind of.
Yeah.
I can laugh about it now because it's kind of over and done with, but at that time, there was. I would just go sit in my chair and get my little dog, and I'd just sit in my chair and just sit there. And then some days it would just be, work, and I didn't think
Yeah.
about it, and you would think about it, and and I told very, very few people because it's kind of a personal thing to a degree. It's and what it's what somebody goes, oh, I'm sorry you got cancer. They really want to hear that, but
Yeah.
thank you for your concern. But it's just the thing of everybody handles things in a different way, and for
Yep.
me, it was a little more to a personal to keep to myself. But
Yeah.
then slowly over time, it has. It's kind of like a thing of the past, but it comes at one time a year for that blood test, and then it kind of comes back to think about it.
Yeah.
But most time, I hardly ever think about it.
But then you have to be grateful because you know that more than likely that blood test will be okay simply because you did what you needed to in the first place. You know.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate you coming on and sharing that story with me, man, and sharing it with my guest tonight. Um, but before we wrap this up, I ask my guest every single time I have a guest on a podcast, um, if there's something that you could tell somebody out there, you know, who is hurting, who might be afraid, who doesn't know what to do, who might be going through some hard times right now and their mental health. What's something you could share with them to let them know that things are gonna be okay.
Things always work out if you give it a chance, and sometimes you just have to find somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be just one person out of 20. Find somebody who, I think a lot of people do not trust somebody if they tell them something, they're going to go blab it everywhere. You just want
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you can talk to and, kind of keep your business between you and them. And that way, it's an easy thing. You can talk to them and just get some personal, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a little bit of personal help from them, a little
Yeah.
support.
A little
If we
a little reassurance.
right, if we support each other more often, I think everything would be a lot better.
And Lord knows that especially during this time of the year, you know, that we should be supporting each other. You know.
Right.
So I appreciate you, Jeff. Um, I'm gonna kick you to the back and wrap up the show, but I'll be with you shortly. All right.
All right. Thank you. You have a good evening.
Yeah, man. You too. Thank you very much. Well, I know that was a surprise breaking news episode and a regular episode, short and sweet. I tried to keep it at an hour for both, but I just like to put on my shirt. Bullying, it doesn't make you cool. All right. Um, I'm sure you've all seen those memes go around of if your kid's being bullied at school, things of this nature. Um, then let me know who the other kid is, and I'll talk to them. Bullying doesn't have to be kids. Bullying can also happen in adults. Um, so if you're struggling with something mentally and you need somebody to talk to, please reach out. But again, I would like to thank my special guests tonight, Lucky Boy Beardco, Jay and Doc, because as we announced earlier, Shape the Podcast and Lucky Boy Beardco did a collab, not even a limited edition. I believe it's going to be on their website for good. We both, designed a beard oil together, and $5 of that, I will be going to a mental health based charity, and that mental health based charity will be rotating monthly. All right, so it's just not one charity's going to benefit from it; a couple will. So next week, that oil should be ready to be shipped out. It's on the website now, so you can go to Lucky Boy Bread Co. and you can put it in your shopping cart, but you just won't be able to get your hands on it until probably next week because we are waiting on the labels to arrive from the shipper. Um, But yeah, thank those guys, and thanks again to Jeff Harmon for coming on. So with that, I'm gonna leave you all. Thank you all for joining me. For those who will be watching replay, thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in me and believing in this podcast. Because without you, this podcast would just be nothing. I mean that. Thank you for the positive encouragement. Thank you to my wife, who believes in me. So y'all have a great night. I will see you again in 2 weeks. I don't know who my guest is going to be yet, but I will have a guest in 2 weeks. With that, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you later.